is our common bond truly? Freedom. Freedom. Without freedom, you can't be a Christian no matter what denomination you belong to. You can't be a Buddhist. You can't own a donut shop. You can't drive from here to Oregon. You can't be an American because that's what it's all about, and it's the only thing that it's all about. Nothing else. Nothing else. It's about freedom.
Gentlemen, welcome to the Pete Santilli Show Counter Coup. I am a coup host, joined by my fellow coup host. I think that's hilarious when I say that.
It is pretty hilarious.
A coup host. That's so hilarious.
How are you?
Hi, Bad Moon, what's going on? Angie, what's going on, Angie? How do you like the evening hours or afternoon hours, Angie? How do you like that? I kind of like this.
I do too.
I do. We have final analysis from the day. We end our day.
What happened all day?
We're going to go live to Monica Lewinsky on CNN.
We are?
No, absolutely not. Ladies and gentlemen,
good.
When we use the mainstream media's platforms, okay, just to let you know, Anderson Pooper right now is saying that President Trump is failing.
Oh, I know.
they're all,
Isn't
this
like
could be a failure. They just don't. They don't want anything to happen. But guess what?
Did you see what he accomplished today?
Huh?
All the people that were in that room.
Did I see what he accomplished?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're calling that a failure.
Look at this. Here's the bottom line. President Trump is the number one contender for the Nobel Peace Prize. So this is what's going to happen. There will be a deal. This has been weeks in the making, by the way. Mm-hmm. There will be a deal. The alliance, I saw it today. Actually, I've never seen. This is unprecedented what we saw. All those people called on Friday. Mm-hmm. Get on a plane, come in. Boom. All the top leaders. Macron, Starmer, Milioni.
Yeah.
All of them. NATO leaders, EU leaders, all called in within 24 business hours notice.
Yeah.
Sitting around the table.
Yep.
We've never had that coalition of the willing assembled like that. They will all, in turn, once he gets this done, he's put them all together. Once they negotiate peace, not a ceasefire, because they said, President Trump came away without a ceasefire. He failed. Oh, my goodness, he's failing. We should impeach him, right?
I know. I heard it.
He failed.
What a bunch of malarkey.
Oh, my goodness, he's going to lose Crimea River.
Crimea River.
He's going to lose the Crimea River.
Mm-hmm.
And he's failing. President Zelensky of Ukraine can end the war with Russia almost immediately if he wants to, or continue to fight. Zelensky has the entire coalition of the willing saying stop. He has his entire population saying stop.
Mm-hmm.
He has everybody here in the United States saying stop. He has Russia saying, give me your land.
Well, obviously,
and a bucket of beans.
Obviously.
Hold on, let me make my point. You ready? All of the members of the EU, the coalition of the willing, NATO, they're all going to nominate President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. So Anderson Cooper can go on and say he failed. They're going to say he failed with the Nobel Peace Prize. Okay, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, obviously, there has already been a deal worked out between Zelensky and Putin. And
they would not be bringing everybody in this fashion.
Oh, no.
To not have a deal. This has been weeks in the making.
Yeah,
okay?
Obviously it has. It's already been mostly, I think, unless Zelensky or Putin get squirrely here at the very end. But I think
look at the people sitting at the table. Look at the people sitting. Europeans have all thanked Daddy Trump is the lower third.
I think about an hour ago, maybe an hour and a half, nobody had left the White House yet. None of the
Now they got to cross their T's, dot their I's.
Yeah. So, for CNN to be doing this right now and all these other people, right, leftists, I've heard it. I've heard them say the same things. It's like he failed. One person actually said that Trump, this was a bigger failure than the withdrawal from Afghanistan. I'm not kidding.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I was like, I think it's a done deal, and I think Putin is agreeing. I think Zelensky is agreeing. Because Trump's about ready to walk away from both of them,
Guess what? Okay, here we go. We're gonna bring Anderson Cooper on. Oh wow! Oh look at that! Wow. Okay. All right. So this is what we're gonna do. Number 8. We're going to bring it to you live. We have right now live. That was my QUX. There you go. I got my QUX.
Bad Moon said, notice Zelensky almost twisted his neck off to see the press. What's really crazy is Trump offered to give him his seat. Did you see that? Did you hear that today? Yeah.
What? Say that again?
When he told Zelensky to go ahead and speak, that he was sure he had something to say. He told him, if you would like to stand up and turn around, or if you would like to come over here, if you'd like to sit here. And I was like, wow, that's interesting.
Yes, it is. And guess what? I'm gonna bring this to us live right now, semi-live. I just rewound it that much. Monica Lewinsky's going out. Let me let her exit. Okay.
Oh, Monica Lewinsky.
Seriously.
Oh, my goodness. That poor girl.
I feel like
still.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Tonight, the president is calling his
Let's
multi-way second summit in 3 days over the war in Ukraine a success and teasing 2 more meetings in the works. He says the next one, still to be arranged, would be between President Zelensky and Putin, followed by one in which he would also take part. He announced this on his social network and called his meeting today with Ukraine's president and European leaders very good. He added that during the meeting, we discussed security guarantees for Ukraine, which guarantees would be provided by the various European countries with a coordination with the United States of America.
Retreat? At some point, if they violated the ceasefire, which I'm sure the president's MAGA base wouldn't be enthusiastic about. Then it turns out, as Mark Rutte, the secretary...
I don't want to hear from Bolton. Oh, my God. Hold on.
What the heck?
Huh? I screwed up.
I know they just keep having.
Hit the wrong one. I got multiple channels burning right now.
Yeah.
So we're gonna listen to commentary on both the left and right tonight, real time. Just give me just a second here. All right. This is hot freaking news coming down the pipe here. CNN and Fox News, right? CNN and Fox News. Here we go. Okay. Let's bring it. Here it comes. You ready?
And the influence of Vladimir Putin. And even midway through, they seemed pleased at how well it was going.
I believe a peace agreement at the end of all of this is something that's very attainable, and it can be done in the near future.
I think if we play this well, we could end this.
The next steps ahead are the more complicated ones now. The path is open. You opened it last Friday.
I think that we had very good conversation with President Trump.
Very good.
And it really was the best one. Maybe the best one will be in the future.
Yeah. I don't care how well President Trump treated him. When he stands next to President Trump, he looks like a yard gnome. Okay? He does.
True story.
But it was really good.
Even with a suit
That
on.
was in sharp contrast.
If you put a
to
suit
how
on a
it
yard
may
gnome,
have
that's what
gone,
you got.
Especially in light of the president posting this last night on social media, putting the onus for stopping the war entirely on President Zelensky, saying he can, quote, end the war with Russia almost immediately if he wants to. Now, the tone of that post, combined with Friday's summit, raised fears of a repeat of February's Oval Office meeting of Zelensky by the president and Vice President Vance, which
Why do they have
even
to talk about
extended
that?
to
It went great.
criticism of his wardrobe by an administration-friendly reporter. Here's that same reporter today.
First of all, Mr. President Zelensky, you look fabulous in that suit.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, you look good.
I said the same thing.
That was Brian Glenn, by the way.
The one that attacked you last time. See, that was, I remember that.
Yeah, I apologize to you. You look wonderful. No, my first question for you, President Zelensky.
In the same suit. You see, I changed you.
Now,
I
here's
loved
the
it.
interesting thing.
I'm sure Brian
Fox
laughed.
News did not play that.
No,
They didn't.
Yeah.
And I thought it was hilarious.
I did too. And knowing Brian, he probably got a good chuckle out of it.
Well,
also.
and MTG doesn't make as much money as everybody thinks she does.
Yeah, she's a multi-millionaire.
Yeah. So she's, I think she might be Jewish too.
Maybe. The way she carries on.
Also today, as he underscored in his social media post tonight, the president appeared to commit the country to some sort of Western security guarantee to Ukraine.
Some sort of.
It's going to be good. They are first line of defense.
Did he say some
because they're
sort of?
there.
Yeah, I think it was
but we're
pretty
gonna help them out
easy
also.
for everybody to figure out, don't you?
So he just kind of glossed over the some sort of security agreement.
Oh, what the hell?
Can I say this? I'm sure
Yeah.
Vladimir Putin's not listening.
I'm sure he's not.
So I'm going to say this. Mm-hmm. If Vladimir Putin did not want NATO on his front doorstep and he takes this deal, he gets NATO on his front doorstep. Right there.
Pretty much.
Like Panmunjom style. Hi, how
Yeah.
are you? Now, the Donbass region, if you picture this, we're talking like 20, 30 years of deep entrenchments, right? The entire line of defense of Europe is in that Donbass region.
Do you know
Did you know that?
Do you know what?
Do you know what that means?
What?
You're glossing over me. I'm talking man talk right now.
I know I was going to talk some man talk
Okay,
back
go.
to you.
Go.
Do you know what? You know what it means? It means that there is going to be a military base. Right there.
They're there. You know what he's going to do?
No, I mean they're going to build a military base. Just like
listen to me.
Who else?
You ready?
Who else were they going to do
Listen
that for?
to me.
Anyway, they're going to
Listen
build
to
a
me.
military base
Listen to
on
me.
that border.
There's mountains, right, with granite and deep bunkers and all that stuff in the Donbass region. All right, deeply entrenched. There's underground tunnels. There's all that stuff. That region right there is the meat grinder. That's where everybody gets. It's literally a World War II styled, right? World War II styled line of demarcation, right?
Yeah.
That's where everybody goes to die on both sides. You go there, both sides die.
Yeah, it's like North and South Korea.
But once
It's going to be. It's going to be like North Korea and South Korea. That's what it's going to be
almost.
They're going to. Europe is going to. The
yeah.
United States is going to help them.
That line of demarcation,
That's going to stop
the
this.
deep entrenchments, all that. So basically, Putin's like, okay, I'm going to take away all their defenses and take the entire Donbass region and Crimea. I got a port, and I got all those freaking deep underground bunkers, basically. They're just picture that. They're just, you got a freaking, you have a machine gun nest, right? You know what a machine gun nest is, right?
I do.
Remember in Iwo Jima, The Japanese bored tunnels and holes, and you could literally freaking launch airstrikes against it. And they're still, that's what he got. That's what he's getting right now in the Donbass region. All right? Now, what that means is EU is wide open because all he needs to do is just cross what he's about to get, and he can go right into the EU, unchecked, non-stoppable, okay? So we will have no choice but to put, right?
It's going to. They're going to.
Well, yeah, they cannot. There's absolutely no way that Vladimir Putin can get the Donbass region and not have security. That means he wants to take Europe.
The United States.
Do you understand what I just said?
I do. And the United States and the Europeans have just made Zelensky richer than any money laundering he could do.
By the way, I love Carl Benj. I do.
You do?
Yeah, I do. But I'm going to say something, and he's a big boy, so he can take this, right?
Oh, my goodness. You need to stay out of the chat
we're
room.
over here playing ping pong, right? Pink-a-bunk-a, pink-a-bunk-a, pink, right? We're playing Ukraine cut-a-deal ping pong, and Carl Benj wants to throw a medicine ball on the table and say, A.G. Barr testified about Epstein.
I don't mind.
Just basically stated, I know, but they're stating what we already know. Okay?
Yeah.
They
but
are.
we
They're
don't
stating
even know
what we
if
already
that's
know.
true or not.
Oh, we don't.
We don't know if anything's true anymore.
A.G. Barr has a FUPA. That's the only fact that we can go by.
Yeah, you leave Carl Benj alone.
No, I'm not picking on it. He's a big boy.
Stay out of the chat room.
Pete, because somebody asked. I know. I didn't see that. That's why I have to stay out of the chat room, because I tick off our most loyal supporters by saying, get your right? Yeah, so please tell me to stay out of the chat room.
Stay out
Carl
of the
Benj
chat
is
room.
one of our most beloved supporters.
Yes.
He is, and he's not a freaking wingnut, right? So, all right, let's continue on. You guys ready to continue on? You guys ready to go? Is this good stuff? We're commenting on CNN's analysis.
So Smugsley.
Huh?
So Smugsley says Putin has already occupied the Donbass after they fighted to rejoin Russia in lawful elections.
The fight is Donbass, Pete. You are correct.
Yes, I believe.
But it is the Air Force and the tunnels underneath up to 17 kilometers. Wow. 17 kilometers. Huh? You could speak China at 17 kilometers.
When asked whether that might include American troops, he did not rule it out, saying only, quote, we'll let you know that maybe later today. The Kremlin quickly poured cold water on that idea. Foreign Ministry spokeswoman saying Russia opposes any scenarios involving NATO military involvement, which would threaten, she said, quote, uncontrollable escalation of the conflict with unpredictable consequences. As for the president's phone call late today with President Putin, the Kremlin called it candid and very constructive.
We're going to hear from Marco Rubio live here coming up.
His meeting with European leaders. Here's how Finland's president described both the call and today's talks to CNN's Aaron Burnett.
So basically, there were three outcomes of today. The first one was a
President Trump
good conversation
said, "Welcome Finland,"
on security
because he's over there.
In other words, security
floating around on a seashell,
by Europe
That's his dinghy was
coordinated
tiny
with the
seashell.
United States for Ukraine, and we start that work on concrete things immediately. The second one was a suggestion of a bilateral meeting between Zelensky and Putin, and that was what President Trump was testing with President Putin, and President Putin had agreed to do that meeting. And then the third step is after the bilateral meeting, if everything goes well, which is, of course, always a big if when you're dealing with Putin, there will be a trilateral meeting. So I think this was one of these meetings where we kind of took, 3 steps forward rather than any backwards.
Germany's chancellor also weighing in tonight about the Putin-Zelensky meeting, saying Mr. Putin agreed to make it within the next 2 weeks. The day was also marked by some familiar aspects of many public moments for the president. He called it Joe Biden's war, not his, not mentioning that it is, in fact, Vladimir Putin's war, first and foremost.
Oh, my gosh.
He also launched several digressions about mail-in voting, which, as you know, Mr. Putin apparently reinforced during their meeting in Alaska. And in a hot microphone moment, talking to France's President Macron about the three-way meeting, he said tonight he's trying to arrange. He seemed to put great stock in something was said to him.
I think he wants to make a deal for me. You understand that? As crazy as it sounds.
I want to get right to someone who knows what it's like to be in the room alongside President Trump and world leaders, including Vladimir Putin. Ambassador John Bolton, as I mentioned, served as National Security Advisor during the first Trump term and as the U.S. representative to the United Nations under President George W. Bush. So, Ambassador Bolton...
Hold on. I got to go back on this, and then we're going to go to Marco Rubio.
Yeah.
Finland's president described both the call and today's talks to CNN's Aaron Burnett.
So basically, there were three outcomes of today. The first one was a good conversation on security guarantees. In other words, security guarantees by Europe and coordinated with the United States for Ukraine. And we start that work on concrete things immediately. The second one was a suggestion of a bilateral meeting between Zelensky and Putin. And that was what President Trump was testing with President Putin, and President Putin had agreed to do that meeting. And then the third step is after the bilateral meeting, if everything goes well, which is, of course, always a big if when you're dealing with Putin, there will be a trilateral meeting. So I think this was one of these meetings where we kind of took, 3 steps forward rather than any backwards.
Germany's chancellor also weighing in tonight about the Putin-Zelensky meeting, saying Mr. Putin agreed to make it within the next 2 weeks. The day was also marked by some familiar aspects of many public moments for the president. He called it Joe Biden's war, not his, not mentioning that it is, in fact, Vladimir Putin's war, first and foremost. He also launched several digressions about mail-in voting, which, as you know, Mr. Putin apparently reinforced during their meeting in Alaska. And in a hot microphone moment, talking to France's President Macron about the three-way meeting, he said tonight he's trying to arrange. He seemed to put great stock in something was said to him.
I think he wants to make a deal for me. You understand that? As crazy as it sounds.
I want to get right to someone who knows what it's like to be.
You know what? Those freaking rat bastards.
Well, but...
What do you mean, well, but?
No, I mean, he didn't say anything. He said, I think he's willing to make a deal. You know, that's pretty awesome.
I know, but
he's
you know what?
Lucky, though, right? Is that what you're saying? Do you think they had the mic open on purpose?
No, you know what? They're freaking CIA.
True.
You can't even go anywhere near these people. They're not media.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, they're not media. They're Central Intelligence Agency. And that's why everything is terrible. You know, everything is awful. Russia, 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 Russia. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And he keeps re-emphasizing that it's Biden's war. It's actually Vladimir Putin's. No, it isn't. You know what? I've studied this.
Yeah.
I know the exact moment when this whole thing set off. Guess when it was?
When was it?
Vladimir Putin said, we will pay off your $15 billion. All we want is pipeline across to supply the EU. $15 billion? He said, you don't even need to pay us back. And guess what? Then Victoria Nuland flew out there, Joe Biden flew out there, and Hillary Clinton set up a deal and said, you will either go by way of getting a debt enslavement loan from the IMF, or if you go with Vladimir Putin, what did she say? I have it all. You know what I need to do?
What?
I need to back up what I just said by playing my Ukraine, that segment from my Ukraine thing. Victoria Nuland, Joe Biden, and Hillary Clinton started this in 2013. Okay? Then the CIA overthrew the Ukraine in 2014, and they installed the Svoboda Party, Nazis, right? This is 2014 now.
Sure.
The Svoboda Party and the Azov Battalion immediately went to eastern Ukraine and started slaughtering Eastern Ukrainian Jews, okay? And for 8 long years, boom, boom, boom. They were hitting the Donbass region, slaughtering the Eastern Ukrainian Jews. And Eastern Ukraine and the Donbass, Donetsk and Luhansk, right? They said, please come and liberate us. They were celebrating in the streets. You can't even find those videos anymore.
You can't.
Where they were cheering on the Russians for coming in there and stopping the slaughtering in the Donbass region.
Completely.
That's in 20. This happened. That liberation of the
at the beginning of
Donbass
the war.
region was at the beginning of the war. What, 3 years ago?
2.
They keep saying this is Putin's war. Putin's war. Putin invaded. No, Putin went. Listen to me. I freaking watched it. I watched it. Why would they delete all those videos of all the people in the streets of the Donbass saying, "Oh my God, we're sick and tired of getting slaughtered by Nazis"? And Putin said, we're going to denazify Ukraine.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Here's the key thing, and this is why this land is so important, all right? It was almost impossible to take the Donbass region. I mean, it was literally just a freaking wood chipper, you know?
Yes.
They're just boom, boom. Azov's in there. Russians are in there. Drones are in there. Our drone technology, their drone technology. And this thing just started escalating and escalating and escalating. And if Russia had ever blown past without this peace agreement, if he had ever blown past the Donbass region, that's the line of defense to Europe.
Yes.
Okay? If he had ever taken hold of Donbass without a peace agreement and blown past that, he could have gone all the way to frickin' Europe. Unchecked.
I don't think he wanted to, though.
The Central Intelligence Agency with Anderson Pooper, okay, will not tell you that. They will not tell you that.
I don't think he was interested in that. I don't think Putin was ever interested in that. 3 times I said it.
Yeah.
So.
Can't miss Hannity, weeknights at 9.
I really don't. But I do believe that he was interested very much in the Donbass region.
I'm watching live right now. We're going to go to Marco Rubio.
Where's he going to be?
On
Fox News or something crazy?
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's on Fox News. We're going to hear Fox here. This is going to be live. Here we go. Ted Cruz also going to be breaking some news here as we go. And in 4 minutes, we will go to a break. We will always go to a break at the 30-minute mark. You guys keep that in mind.
We're going to try.
Okay. What?
We're going to try.
No, we're not trying. We're going to a break.
We're going to try to be
at
good.
At the 30-minute mark.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. You ready?
Yes.
Let's go. Oh, my God. I said that President Trump is going to be nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, didn't I? Guess who's going to nominate him?
Putin?
Well, could have gotten Vlad to fly over to our home turf and buzz him with B-2s so badly that his legs looked like he drank a fifth of vodka? This meeting never would have been possible if Donald Trump hadn't slapped secondary sanctions on Russian energy exports.
Cover this, too, right before Bubio comes on.
Hadn't forced the Saudis to keep oil prices low. He got NATO to beef up defense spending, and the EU trade deal has us selling the continent American energy. No more Nord Stream. Time for peace. Ukraine was once gung-ho, naturally, and now they want a truce.
The idea that they do want to negotiate an end to this war as soon as possible, that has now gone through the roof. Again, we're talking about 69%, which is such a big difference from where we were at the beginning of the war when it was just 22.
Stay right there.
Wow.
We're going to bring you Rubio. There's a girl. It's always on my mind. Okay, you're tuned into the live analysis right here on LFA TV. Ladies and gentlemen, stay right there. Support us by supporting our sponsors.
Did you know diabetes, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, HPV, herpes, the common cold or flu, or even the most catastrophic of all illnesses, can be directly tied to a weakened immune system? Now you can help your immune system with Inforce.
My symptoms went away. My body is healing itself from the inside.
I went from totally bedridden and not being able to do much of anything. I started taking Inforce and it changed my whole life.
The powerful extracts in Inforce are all natural and backed by over 400 clinical studies in the U.S. and around the world. Take charge of your health and help your immune system fuel your body with Inforce.
Inforce is a product that has literally changed my life. Within a 3-week period of time, all the different issues that I had with my body started to clear up.
This product is amazing. The studies on it, what it's doing for people's lives, the way it's helping with the immune system. I personally take it every day, and I'm really excited about the potential that this product has for people.
Force Natural Products through Pet Club 24/7 is the exclusive manufacturer of the most powerful strain of Coriolis versicolor, the main ingredient that makes up our wonderful Inforce immune supplement. No one else has what we have. Our proprietary extraction process is unlike any other found in the world and locked in by the doctors who first developed this amazing, all-natural botanical strain. We first introduced Inforce for pets and saw remarkable results. When their owners noticed dramatic improvements in their furry loved ones, they asked if we could provide Inforce for humans. The answer was yes, and today Inforce is helping both humans and pets live longer and more quality lives. Manufactured in the USA in a CGMP FDA-registered laboratory, this unique product is available as Inforce, Inforce Plus, Inforce Restore for pancreas and liver support, and Inforce Clarity, supporting normal brain function, a healthy nervous system, a healthy stomach, and a healthy colon. The Inforce family of products are not available in any stores and sold only through Pet Club 24/7. Pick up your Inforce today.
It's fabulous.
Visit PeteLovesPets.com and be sure to subscribe to AutoShip.
Hey everybody, Jeremy Harrell here, LFA TV. I hope you're enjoying the show today. And I want to thank the host for allowing me to come in to talk to you about Armor Colostrum. Folks, when we were born as babies and we were breastfed, the lucky ones of us anyway, we got something called colostrum into our system. And what that is 400 plus bionutrients that really built our entire immune system. Now, on the outside of our body, we have a thing that protects us called skin. But on the inside of our body, we have a thing that protects us called the mucosa. And that mucosa is subject daily to pollutions and pesticides and chemicals in our food, in our water, and so much more. And it causes us to bloat. It causes us to feel horrible. It causes us to feel sluggish. And it actually slows down our body from, that kind of damage slows down our body from basically just releasing some of the things that we need in order to keep us healthy. So we have to introduce things like colostrum into our body to get our body healthy again and strong again, our gut health strong again, and Armor Colostrum is that something. TryArmor.com/LFATV will give you 15% off your entire order. That is TryArmor.com/LFATV. Not only does it strengthen your immune system and stop you from bloating, but it gets rid of heartburn, gets rid of indigestion, starts regrowing your hair thicker again, your nails, your cuticles, everything is healthy and growing fast. TryArmor.com/LFATV. Try it today, folks, and thank you very much.
Don't worry, honey. They just like to watch. It's okay, honey.
They just like to watch.
At QUX. We don't. Seriously, we don't.
For special discounts and promotions, always be sure to use promo code PETE at checkout.
You're listening to The Pete Santilli Show. Pete Santilli, telling you the truth, whether you like it or not.
All right, and we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. Just a couple of housekeeping items. You ready?
Just a couple.
Before our special guest comes on, Norm Pattis.
Norm Pattis.
Attorney Norm Pattis.
The famous attorney.
You're going to break away just for 30 minutes, right? And then come back for the final 30 minutes, right? But before we end, look at, you know what this is? What is this?
QUX box.
It's a box for QUX box, right? That right there. Make no mistake about it. This is going to become one of the most important boxes of all boxes.
Yes.
Right? Here's another thing.
So exciting.
When I say Tell everybody, just validate me. Not that they don't believe me. They just hear the same thing over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What are the most important items in our household? Here. Hey, quiet. You want a treat? Stop. What are the most important items in our household? Stop it. Okay.
Our fur babies and what they eat?
Yeah. PeteLovesPets.com. Now, when I sponsor...
And cut beef liver.
When I take on...
love this stuff.
When I take on a sponsor, right?
Mm-hmm.
We get it's an affiliate, right? We purchase the product, we try the product, we love the product, we embrace the product, we live the product, we eat, dream, sleep, wake up, feed, right? Where is she? Hey, you know what? Seriously. You guys are out of control, okay? All right, we need some updated Pete Loves Pet stuff, huh?
Take me off camera for a second and I'll go see what they're
Oh my
barking
God.
about.
Huh? Okay. All right, I will. I'll take you off camera. Okay, go. Fantastic. She has to detach herself. She's got a catheter with a...
Oh, jeez.
What? A little pee bag that she doesn't want you to see. Here's the next thing. I'm going to make a special announcement and tell you that as of right now, I've tested this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that it's noticeable. I have to practice what I'm preaching, and I'm under the advice of one of the world's renowned molecular biologists. And her name is Dr. Judy Mikovits. It's banging pots and pans up there. Crazy dogs. See this right here? This is called Fix, all right? And the bottle is right here. This Fix has one ingredient, matured hops extract. And if you've been following RFK Jr., he's been talking about his diet. Outside of what I did with a cleanse, I had to do a 10-day cleanse. So far, I've lost 27 pounds. And if you want to know how I did it, you want to do it to the extreme. You have to have tremendous discipline. You don't have to do it as extreme as I did. You got to do it healthy, too. All right? Got to be careful. There's a regimen. I'm going to share it with you. But included with my cleanse, taking matured hops extract, cleansing myself. Normally, when I do a cleanse, after I finish the cleanse, I start, you gain some of the water weight back. That did not happen. I'm on the road. Yesterday, I was 27 pounds down. And if anybody out there wants to lose weight and you want to do it right, I will coach you through it. But it's going to include Fix, all right? And you'll learn about Fix. And Dr. Judy Mikovits, Fix, Cardio Miracle, right? All of those essential nutrients that you need, we've got deficiency. So we'll talk more about that. Methylene Blue is good. It didn't include what I did to lose 27 pounds. Did not include methylene blue, but keeping your system clean. Yeah. Maha, methylene blue. We have methylene blue, and we have the best source of it, not Alex Jones's type. Alex Jones, no, what? What do you mean? What does that mean? Don't do that. Do not buy methylene blue from Alex Jones because I'm selling it, and I want you to buy it for me. And I'll give you an option later on down the road. And why did I say that? To bash Alex Jones? No, it's just a competitive thing. I'd rather get... And by the way, our methylene blue and our source of it comes from a 5-time MMA champion, okay? Pat Miletich, and his formulation and the stuff that he does. You'll be hearing about that in the future as well. She gets really nervous when I pick on people. She will not combat anybody. I'm a Marine. She's a housewife. She makes sandwiches. All right? So, let's go back to Anderson. Can we go back to Anderson Pooper?
Yes.
Huh? All right. Let's go back to Anderson Pooper. Here we go. Camera 8. There we are. Camera 8. It's called a camera 8, right? Let's do this right now. Marco Rubio is going to come on and give us an update.
Everybody wants this war to end. The only ones who don't are Democrats. They're pro-war just because they're anti-Trump. They told us Trump was going to start World War III, but he's brokered so many peace deals that he's getting nominated for the Nobel. Even Crooked says give it to him.
Honestly, if he could bring about the end to this terrible war, if he could end it without putting Ukraine in a position where it had to concede its territory to the aggressor, if President Trump were the architect of that, I'd nominate him for a Nobel Peace Prize.
A lot of Democrats are starting to realize Trump was right about everything. The border, trans, crime, and now Ukraine. Trump's the peace candidate that Democrats used to be.
One thing about him that I know, I'm not going to tell you how I know, but a lot of people have seen the same thing. He really does hate war. He really does not like it when people die in war.
The man just hates death because he's such an optimist and he sees the full potential in everything and everybody. It sickens him to watch nations throw funerals instead of weddings and waste money on weapons instead of big, beautiful ballrooms. And as a real estate developer, it's a sin to watch beautiful land massacred by missiles. Secretary of State Marco Rubio joins us now. All right, Secretary, you were in the room this afternoon with President Trump, Zelensky, all the European leaders. Was there a big moment that happened?
Well, I think the whole thing was a big moment. Unprecedented, really, when you think about all these European leaders came here, 7 that were there, and that included the head of NATO and the head of the EU. And they all said the same thing, which is this, after 3 years of sort of deadlock and no talks and no change in circumstances, this is the first time where there seems to be some movement. Now, look, this is a complicated war. There's no doubt about it. I mean, this has been going on for 3.5 years. A lot of people have died. A lot of territories exchanged back and forth. So it's not an easy thing to unwind. But nothing was happening on this war. Literally, the only option that we were given under the previous administration was continue to fund Ukraine for however much they need, for however long it takes. And now you have people actually talking about pathways towards ending it. Now, it's going to take a little bit more work and a little bit more time, but we are making progress. It's not me saying it. That is virtually every leader there today said that in front of the cameras, and they're saying it for a reason, because it's true, and they're witnessing it, and they've been a part of it.
So these European nations, and some of these are NATO countries, are they willing to put troops on the ground in Ukraine to cement this peace deal? Would that make Ukraine kind of like a NATO ally?
Well, what's being contemplated, look, any sovereign country in the world has a right to enter into security alliances with other countries. It's not just NATO. We have such alliances with South Korea. We have it with Japan. Other countries have it with each other. And so I think everyone would acknowledge, including, by the way, for the first time, the Russian side, under President Trump's sort of pressure or, a suggestion, is that, in fact, a Ukraine post-conflict has a right to enter into security agreements with other countries. And we will work with our European allies and non-European countries, by the way, to build such a security guarantee. We're working on that right now. We'll continue to work on that. And that'll be something that'll have to be in place after a peace deal, so that Ukraine can feel safe moving forward. And we're coordinating that as we speak. We're involved in the coordination of it. So, yeah, there are a number of countries that are willing to step forward and provide Ukraine security guarantees. But as the Ukrainians have said to us, and I think have said publicly, the strongest security guarantee they can come up with their future is to have a strong military moving forward. And that's the other dynamic that's changed. We're no longer giving Ukraine weapons. We're no longer giving Ukraine money. We are now selling them weapons. And European countries are paying for it through NATO. They are using NATO to buy the weapons and transfer them to Ukraine. That's another big change from the way this war was approached just just under the Biden administration, for example.
Absolutely. And the minerals deal is also a nice security guarantee in another way. Were you in the room when the president talked to Vladimir Putin?
I was. And in that conversation, what came from it is that the president suggested that Zelensky and Putin meet. So we're working on that now to try to set that up for them to meet somewhere, which, again, would be unprecedented. And then if that goes well, hopefully the next meeting will be a meeting between Presidents Putin, Trump, and Zelensky, where we hope to finalize a deal. We're not there yet, but that's what we're aiming towards. And that's one of the things that was discussed today, is how to get to that point. But just the fact that Putin is saying, sure, I'll meet with Zelensky, that's a big deal. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to leave that room best friends. I'm not saying they're going to leave that room with a peace deal. But I think the fact that people are now talking to each other, this wasn't happening for 3.5 years. This was a stalemated war of death and destruction. And let me tell you something. This president hates war, and he hates it. He thinks it's a waste of money and a waste of lives, and he has made it a priority, President Trump has, to bring about peace. If he sees an opportunity to step in and broker a peace, he wants to do it. He's been successful already 6 times in 6 months and achieved.
Oh, it's actually 7. It's 7. Let me review them. Okay. It looks like Rubio's losing count. He's got so many. This is so genuine. It's so real. Let me tell you who he's negotiated peace deals with. Azerbaijan and Armenia. We know that, right?
Yes.
Cambodia and Thailand. We know that, right? Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. We know that, right?
Yes.
India and Pakistan. We know that, right?
That, and he wants to achieve it with Ukraine and Russia as well.
So the timeline, it looks...
Right? Then we've got Serbia and Kosovo.
Vladimir Putin...
Oh, my God. You're rude. Okay.
It's with Zelensky.
And then I pushed pause.
President Trump and Zelensky and Vladimir Putin meet. The three of...
Stop. Will it start again on its own?
It might.
Them and hopefully cement some sort of peace deal then.
Hilarious.
Okay, we got Serbia and Kosovo, Egypt and Ethiopia, and guess what? He forgot about Israel and Iran.
Yes.
Right?
The issue about giving land back
4.
seems to be the sticking point. Is that the main sticking point? Is that Russia wants to keep the land that it's taken militarily? And how do you get around that? What's the negotiation over there?
Yeah, I don't think it's helpful to go into all the details of that, obviously, because these negotiations, frankly, work best when they're done privately and in our negotiation setting.
Wait, you don't want to do it on national TV on Jesse Waters' primetime, Secretary? I mean, that's just crazy.
No, we'll be more than... When we have a deal, I'll describe it to you for sure. But look, that's why you got to give these guys space to work. I mean, they have their own constituencies, okay? They have their own considerations. And you don't want to give away one side's leverage in that regard. But let me just say this about it. I think everyone understands that some of the key elements to bringing this about is Ukraine has to feel safe moving forward. In essence, they have to believe that at the end of this war, they are in a position to never get invaded again. I think what's also true, and I think it's common sense, and I don't know why it's so hard for a lot of people to understand it, is in any negotiation to bring about the end of a war or any conflict for that matter, it's going to require both sides to receive, but also to give. In essence, one side's not going to get 100% here. Each side is going to have to make some concessions. And obviously land or where you draw those lines, where the war stops, is going to be part of that conversation. And it's not easy, and maybe it's not even fair, but it's what it takes in order to bring about an end to a war. And that's has been true in every war. The only wars that don't end that way are the ones that have unconditional surrender by one side or the other. And we're not going to see that in this conflict. So obviously the issue of that will be talked about. And the president's been very clear. In the end, what those lines look like are up to Putin and up to Zelensky and up to the Ukrainian side to decide what each one can live with. We are going to be there to facilitate that and make that possible and make sure that both sides are talking. And by the way, President Trump is the only leader in the world, acknowledged by all the Europeans, the only leader in the world that can talk to both of them and bring them both to a meeting is Donald J. Trump, the President of the United States. He's the only one. And the fact that he's willing to do it is something that every American, including Democrats, should be happy that we have a peace president. We should be proud that we have a president that's made peace a priority in his administration.
Absolutely. And I think Zelensky symbolically already making some concessions because he put on kind of a suit. So that is progress.
It looked good, right?
I think it looked great.
Yeah.
We like to see it.
Yeah.
Well, great job and keep up the great work. I know it's tough stuff, but looks like there is a lot of momentum here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We have
witness what happens to this woman's bags under her eyes.
Oh, shut up. Okay. Witness this big pharmaceutical ad that pays millions of dollars. And there's a few people over there that have to navigate around this. I like Will Cain. He's doing a pretty good job. I think Jesse Waters is doing fine, but he could never talk about election fraud or the jab being manufactured by by defense contractor BARDA, and then private labeled by Pfizer, who is advertising on. I dare Jesse Waters to say something terrible about venom ingredients being included in the Ozempic that they're broadcasting on there. Oh, you can't do that, of course. We can talk about the natural Ozempic, okay? They don't want me talking about this. And by the way, I said I wanted you to buy methylene blue from me. You'll find out about that. Methylene blue is great. And I said something about Alex Jones. It wasn't, did I say anything disparaging? Just because I can't stand him, it was jumbled with methylene blue. It's a great product, okay? But I don't want you to buy it from him because he's an asshole. What? Oh, don't say that. Oh. Listen to me. Alex Jones is a piece of crap that turned on President Trump. I will smash him, figuratively speaking, into a cigarette. That's right. You go after my president, I will crush you with your whole anti-Jew cabal over there at InfoWars. That's the only reason why I don't want you to buy methylene blue, right? Buy it from me. And no, he can't sue me for saying that because I'm competing, right? All right, here's the deal. Fix, P-H-I-X, everything.com. Fix everything. If you go to Fix Everything, I set up that entire website, all right? How many months ago did I set it up? What, 4 or 5 months ago? Then I had to, what they say, you got to ramp up. What? And I literally I probably gained 10, 15 pounds just from waiting. And I said, I'm going to eat potato chips. I'm going to eat pasta. I'm going to do that stuff. And I gained weight. And I put off what I needed to do. And now I take this twice a day religiously. Why? Along with my cardio miracle. Why? Because one of the world's top molecular biologists, Dr. Judy Mikovits, she's going to come on. You guys are going to get plenty of information. All right? You'll see at fixeverything.com. She discusses, and there's plenty of information, scientific proof that you don't need to inject yourself with snake venom, which is in Ozempic, the Gila monster, right? Venom. Gila monster, I say snake venom. Reptile venom is in Ozempic. This is nature's Ozempic. It's called mature hops extract, right? Matured hops extract does the exact, and by the way, there's scientific papers side by side that show you what the Gila monster venom does and what this does as to you losing weight. Okay, so if you want to lose weight and you want to get fit, and if you think that I'm a good example to go by, I'm not just selling product, am I? Am I a user of this product?
Very much so.
You're not even paying attention to me.
I am.
You're still PTSD'd from Alex Jones.
You said, am I a user of this product?
Yes. I'm an advocate for this product because, ladies and gentlemen, I lost 27 pounds. And this certainly assisted me. Remember, after I get off the cleanse, remember what I said? Every time I do the cleanse, what happens right after? I get back on it and start, I get back to eating, and I gain like 2 to 5 pounds. So no matter what it is that I lose, did I lose anything? I mean, did I gain anything?
No.
Nothing.
You've continued to lose.
Right here. It's I'm on the path to becoming as skinny as Nick Fuentes.
Oh, jeez.
What? He is just a... Huh?
Yeah.
I'm going to join his little band of twinks. What do you think? Or at least pretend. No, I'm not. Right? Anyways, I'm picking on them. I apologize. I'm just doing that just to tease you.
All right.
Did you see President Trump and Zelensky walking in? Let me go to 2. Here we go. Clip number 2. Check this out. Watch this. Here they are. There was no audio on that.
You're much better vision than I. That was an Italian flag. That's Giorgia Meloni. We believe about to go through the gates. As we look at that, I actually just want to keep our eye on the.
I'm going to fast forward so you can see Zelensky. Here he is. Got their little commentator. Fast forward all the way through. They're commenting.
Put this to sleep because this is guarantees in place.
Oh, no. What happened? Oh, my God. Their timeouts just kill me, okay?
Residential neighborhoods seems to be pretty senseless. Moreover, I should tell you that we believe that...
CNN always has a twist, right? They're like, well, we cannot stop President Trump, and we cannot talk to Vladimir Putin. You know, they're trying to convince everybody that, Russia. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. She says, oh, my goodness, we want peace. President Trump is doing great, but he's talking to Vladimir Putin. How do you get peace unless you talk to Vladimir Putin? Okay? I mean, she's like, we want peace. Too many people die. They're literally sending 1 million people on each side to the wood chipper. Is there something going on in the chat room?
No.
No? Am I getting trolled? I'll get in there. I'll fight back on the trolls. Norm Pattis.
Gosh.
What's that?
No, you're not getting trolled.
No. Let me just play just a little bit more so you can hear this.
Putin's demands, like trading land, are deliberately impossible. So he is not even going to have any negotiations. He intentionally put these impossible demands to actually stop any kind of agreement.
Can you explain that?
The second
deliberately impossible before you go on?
Yeah.
Explain what that means for people who don't understand.
So I will give you analytical assessment and then my emotional assessment as a Ukrainian, as mother of 2 children, and, just a human being. So over the past 3 years, Putin has spent or wasted 3 years, 1 million Russian soldiers to occupy 1% of Ukrainian territories. And now he wants Ukraine to give away voluntarily more land than he occupied.
Everybody stay right there. I'm going to get my guest, Norm Pattis, locked in. No matter what. President Trump is talking to Putin. We want peace. Oh, you can't get peace without talking to Vladimir Putin. Sorry. I'm speaking to you as a mother. I'm speaking to you as a logical, sane person. Okay? Everybody stay right there. We'll be back with Norm Pattis right after this.
Hey everyone, sorry to barge in like this, but I do want to talk to you about this opportunity for 45% off of Everyday Dose coffee. And this isn't just your regular coffee, folks. If you're like me, you love your coffee routine. I've loved my coffee routine since I was probably 16 years old. Unfortunately, as I've gotten older, some of the coffee that I love doesn't love me back and does cause bloating, does cause jitters, can only drink so much a day, and there's really only so much I can do with it. Now, Everyday Dose is known as Coffee Plus Benefits. And what I mean by that, folks, is A, there is an ingredients booklet in there that gives you a ton of different recipes on how to make cold brew coffees of all different kinds, lattes, different hot coffees, and more. But the greatest thing about Everyday Dose is it is known as Coffee Plus Benefits, meaning that you're going to have 100% Arabica coffee, and you're going to also have lion's mane, chaga, collagen protein, and nootropics that keep your brain focused. No jitters, no heart palpitations, and a ton of different recipes. And you're going to get a frother, a tumbler, a box set with a bunch of different gifts in it, an ingredients booklet for recipes, coffee, and more for only $27, folks. 45% off by going to everydaydose.com/LFATV. That's everydaydose.com/LFATV. Why not expand your experiences with coffee? That's everydaydose.com/LFATV.
With key ingredients supported by over 80 clinical trials, the exclusive formulation of the Bella Grace Elixir is changing lives everywhere. ingesting collagen peptides alone is not very helpful. This is where most products fall short, and where Bella Grace changes everything. Unlike other products, the Bella Grace Elixir controls the gene switches which activate collagen creation and disables the enzymes that break down the matrix. Bella Grace Elixir contains Verisol, the world's best and most clinically studied form of collagen. These elite collagen peptides influence the skin's collagen metabolism directly from the inside. Nature's most powerful antioxidant. 6,000 times more potent than vitamin C, Astaryl astaxanthin prevents the activation of gene switches that drive inflammation and activates the gene switch responsible for cellular repair and longevity, forming bridges across cell membranes, protecting them from free radical attack. Amazonian cat's claw suppresses the enzymes that degrade collagen and our skin matrix caused by oxidants and inflammation. It simply turns the switch off. The world's most studied collagen, plus activating the genes that make collagen, plus switching off the genes that break down collagen, has resulted in something the world has never experienced. The Bella Grace Elixir. Start your 30-day Bella Grace challenge today.
Sign up for auto ship of your Bella Grace products and get a big discount. Visit pete.bellagraceglobal.com today. Sign up to become an influencer and get paid on every referral. You'll get your monthly Bella Grace products for free. Visit pete.bellagraceglobal.com today.
I've utilized the thing that John Hewlett has developed, this Cardio Miracle, and just so you, as a quick aside, in the gym where I go every day, the 30-somethings, and I'm in my mid-50s, they just can't keep up.
I did start probably in about January taking the Cardio Miracle. The most interesting and telling thing after being on this for a few months is really noticing a difference in the energy level that I've had and the severity of my heart problems. It's funny, you start to begin to have this sense that there's actual healing taking place inside the body.
Visit cardiomiracle.com and be sure to use promo code PETE at checkout and receive a 15% discount when you subscribe to AutoShip.
Limited time with my next guest because the topics I'm going to discuss are going to require at least, 750 hours of discussion, especially to unpack all the work that he's done since I've known him. Norm Pattis, I'm going off sheet here as far as an introduction. Norm Pattis is a constitutional attorney. Now, I've told him this without really sucking up to him, but I told him he's really high on my list of constitutional attorneys. I think he's on politically. He might be like center or slightly left of center, maybe like our family members, just blue dog Democrats that want to treat the people right and protect their civil rights. He can speak to that. But politically, I don't even care where he is on the spectrum because of the way that he fights in the courtroom. I've said this to him. And I want you to know this. Now, there's been some landmark cases in my lifetime. Number one was watching the Alex Jones case. They came after him. God bless Norm Pattis for going into that lion's den for that one. Norm Pattis out there fighting against all evil. the entire deep state, and then one man and Alex Jones doing the best that they can to go up against that. We're going to have a conversation about that. And then most affectionately, I say he stepped up to defend at the Proud Boys trial, defend to the best of his ability, up against all odds, of course, in the Proud Boys trial. Norm Pattis joins me right now from, did you not come in? Unbelievable. Hold on one second. I think I almost messed that up, Norm Pattis. Norm Pattis, welcome back to the Pete Santilli Show, sir. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me. Now, you should know that I haven't been in my office for 2 months. I took a long summer break this year. I turned 70 in September and thought, I'm never going to retire, but I'm going to play the old man card. I got a not guilty verdict in a murder. I slammed my briefcase into my desk, and I said to my office manager, "I'll see you after Labor Day." Well, they're getting me back tomorrow, but I haven't been in the office for a couple months, and I'm so relaxed I don't even know myself.
Norm, you have to. I'll never forget the number of days, weeks, months, and then I called you on a Saturday, and you're like, I just had to take a breather and go, stare at some lightning bugs. You took one brief pause. But you need to do that to refresh. Norm, you can speak to this very articulately. What you have been up against, sir, did you even think existed?
Well, I don't know what's going on in the country. I heard your intro. I don't know what my politics are. I don't really know that I have them. I rarely vote. I mean, my family is far to the left. My now deceased father-in-law was incarcerated by the House Un-Americans Committee for being an American, being a communist. My mother-in-law was indicted by Massachusetts for criminal sedition. My sister-in-laws are to the left of, Mao. And my wife has to put up with me and explain me at family events that I'm no longer invited to and no longer go to. And so, I try to keep a low political profile to keep the peace at home, but I love a good courtroom fight. And so, for example, the Alex Jones case, I've never seen anything like it in my life. I didn't really know a lot about Alex Jones prior to beginning to represent him. That was about 5 years ago. And we were summoned into a civil proceeding where he was charged with defaming the parents of children killed at Sandy Hook and some of the first responders and others. We ended up on something called the complex litigation docket, where a judge was assigned to supervise the case. And if that judge didn't have her thumb on the scale, I don't have a big nose. And as your viewers can see, I do. And so we never really got beyond first base in that case. Alex filed a motion to dismiss the case on First Amendment grounds under a unique state statute called an anti-SLAPP statute. The other side said they needed discovery, and because they never got what they wanted, they involved the judge in a lengthy series of hearings and motions where we're not getting what we wanted. Mr. Jones isn't telling us anything. So ultimately, he ends up getting defaulting. He loses the right to defend himself on the merits. And as a result, the jury is told that, quote, causation has been established. And the Sandy Hook families are permitted to get on the witness stand and blame him for everything that they had endured since the trial. And then, the jury was misled with the judge's endorsement by plaintiff's counsel, who suggested that Jones had made hundreds of millions of dollars covering Sandy Hook. There was no evidence to support that. So a whopping verdict came back, a $1.5 billion verdict. We were able to get part of it reversed on appeal. He's now asking the United States Supreme Court to review it, and that court will likely decide in the fall what will happen. Myself, some medical records ended up being disclosed inadvertently by another lawyer in the case, and that the judge who presided over the Alex Jones farce issued an order suspending my law license for 6 months. So we took an appeal, and this was a very stressful time, obviously. The Jones verdict comes in. She wants my hide for 6 months, just as the Proud Boys trial was starting. So I'm having to explain in Washington to the judge, my license is under attack. We were able to fight that off, and we got it reduced to a week. And now we're taking an appeal of the Weeks decision as well, because what had happened in the hearing, explaining what happened, I'm not an unethical lawyer. A person in my office made a mistake. I authorized it. Okay, that's fine. That happens. You saw in the Luigi Mangione trial, medical records were mistakenly disclosed this week. Nobody's calling for anyone's hide there. But if you stand next to Alex Jones, you're going to get hurt. So I put on 5 or 6 of the state's top prosecutors to testify about my reputation for ethical conduct in a courtroom, and the judge never even referred to that in her, in her homicidal attack on me. So I'm pretty confident that in the end there will be no disciplinary record associated with the Alex Jones case. But it put my law license on the line. It resulted in a boatload of negative publicity and considerable stress.
Yeah. Yes, and if you don't mind, I'm not dumbing it down for everybody listening out there. There was a key thing, and I watched the entire trial. I watched you go up against this machine. I mean, I couldn't even imagine what they were doing and how they were speaking to the jury. You mentioned that causation has been established. So if I could phrase that, convert it to a language that everyone can understand, they told the jury that was seated that he's already guilty. He's been found guilty. You just need to determine how much he's going to pay.
Yeah, and when I asked, and he never was.
He wasn't?
That issue was never litigated.
Right.
What happened was he suffered a disciplinary default for alleged failures to comply with discovery. Right. That's different than causation being established. And when I asked for permission to tell the jury that, it was denied. It was a miscarriage of justice, and I believe the plaintiff's lawyers were misleading. I believe the judge misled the jury.
Can I ask something to dumb it down once again with respect to the discovery? And by the way, I believe in due process of law. I believe that when a judge issues an order, you have to comply. They have to navigate and settle things between the plaintiff and the defendant. So if somebody doesn't comply, then they get sanctioned or penalized. But with respect to the discovery, as I understood it, he was being asked for stuff that he didn't have, and he didn't provide it, so therefore he was found, in contempt? Or he was penalized?
He wasn't found in contempt. He was defaulted. He lost the ability to defend the lawsuit. And, that's called a death penalty sanction, which rarely is entered. I mean, another interesting case that crossed my way along the years was a kid named Saifullah Khan, who was a Yale student alleged to have raped a classmate, and we tried the case to a verdict and got a not guilty verdict. And he was hung up in the Title IX process by Yale, and so we sued Yale, claiming the Title IX process violated fundamental fairness. In this case, Mr. Khan has disclosed information that the court didn't want him to, and the other side keeps moving to dismiss. And the judge says, no, we'll let the jury know about that, and that may have an effect on damages, but he's got a right to be heard. That was the right move in the Alex Jones case. If the other side believed that he played hide the ball, that's okay. They should be able to tell the jury that. But to tell the jury that, not to tell the jury that that's why he was defaulted, to claim that liability was established, and then to stand in front of a jury where there was no question of punitive damages and say, you can award anything you want here. He had at least 500 million impressions, on social media during a given period, according to our expert. If you just gave $1 or $2 or $3 for each, I mean, what is that? That's not emotional distress damages. They made a punitive damages argument in a case about compensatory damages, and the Connecticut Supreme Court stood behind them.
Yeah. Final note here, and I think you're going to be surprised by this on the Alex Jones case. Politically, I got ticked off. He started going against President Trump because of the Epstein stuff. And you know what? And I say I'm a loyalist, as in I understood what the distraction was with the Epstein files. And when President Trump said it's a nothing burger, politically, I detached myself from Alex Jones. I did. I don't text him. I don't call him. I don't do anything because I'm butthurt because he attacked my president. But I'm going to tell you something right now. I will stand with you and with Alex Jones all the way to the front steps of the Supreme Court, because what is happening to Alex Jones it should never take place in the United States of America. And I stand with
agreed.
him. Yeah.
I mean,
I will fight.
When he called the Sandy Hook surviving family members, crisis actors. A friend of mine's niece was killed at the school. I mean, there was no question in my mind that people died there. The Sandy Hook is 25 miles from where I'm sitting right now. I know where I was when I heard about, the
Norm,
shooting.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I do know something about that. You know why? Because I had people, the same people that were telling Alex Jones that there were crisis actors, Wolfgang Halbig and James Fetzer were the same ones telling me. So he's gathering information. These are somewhat credible people. He repeated what he was being told by his sources, and you're right. A lot of people were impacted by it because it was very real. Whether they were right or wrong, I know he got that information from Halbig and Fetzer because I was watching the show.
Well, and what's more, I mean, he said it, and some people believed it, and some people scorned the family members.
Yes.
I mean, most of us, when we suffer life-defining losses, loss of parents, loved ones, we suffer in silence. The Sandy Hook families have made a cottage industry of their grief, and their plaintiffs' lawyers are still seeking to cash in on it.
Yes. All right, now let's segue. And you're tied to this case, whether you like it or not, this case that I'm about to mention, because it's still ongoing, sir. Okay?
All right.
Do you remember? Now, I have tremendous respect for a trial attorney. You have to make do with what you have. You got sources. Are they vetted? Are they going to be coming in? Remember way back when I said I had these sources and they were over at, and by the way, I'm still following through with this, the whistleblowers that were at the FACE unit, F-A-C-E. They identified the entire frontline breach on January 6th. Were all, majority of them were friendlies. They had facial ID'd all these people and had to pluck through to find a couple that weren't on the payroll, and they wanted to come forward. Their lives were in danger. I came this close to getting them to the courtroom to come meet you so that you could get them on the stand. But
that would have been great.
Oh my goodness, it would have been great. But it didn't happen. All right, but let me tell you another thing. The communication that went on January 6th was done, believe it or not, the black operatives communicate in the chat rooms on child porn servers that are housed in Fort Washington, Maryland. I have evidence of it. You were one of the ones that broke a case that exposed that the FBI was running 26 child porn websites for the purposes of investigating child pornography. And I tracked it from your cases where the FBI had to they got caught, pick them up, and they moved them per a whistleblower to Fort Washington, Maryland. And I don't know how recently they stopped doing it, but I provided all of this evidence to Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. Wow. And your name is all over it, sir. Your name is all over it.
I don't remember the case. I mean, I've done so many child porn cases.
Have you really?
There was a time 15, 20 years ago where I would be invited around the country to speak to family members of those accused of this, and it was touching. I mean, you'd go to these church bazaar rooms, let's say, on a Saturday evening, and people would introduce themselves first name only. They didn't want to give last names for fear that they'd be identified. And they were just looking for hope. And, I think that the control of the internet and the electronic communications necessary to broker these things, whether it's ultimately in the FBI's hands or not, or whether they are so embedded within it to monitor it that they effectively are a controlling interest is hard for me to say. But I don't remember breaking any case like that. So you've got better researchers.
Oh my goodness, I have your entire docket on that case, because you know what, and what you did expose is that there was a level of entrapment, that the FBI was actually running that. You can't have that. Now, from your perspective as a constitutional attorney, I want you to speak to this. You can't be entrapping people into committing crimes, period. And it happens in so many different realms, not just in child porn cases. January 6th.
The law of entrapment is tricky. So the typical entrapment case is, well, not the typical, but a glaring example of entrapment would be you put a gun to my head and say, I'm going to blow your head off unless you help me rob this bank. And, Patty Hearst at the Simonese Liberation Army, maybe. Right. That's a different kind of case, I suppose. Right. And so I'm doing something that I wasn't otherwise predisposed to do. If I have a sexual interest in children, and I surface on somebody's radar expressing that interest, and they place me in a position where I can satisfy that interest, was I entrapped, or was I given an opportunity to act on my impulse? And so that line is a very fine one.
Yes.
And it's not what people think. Just because the federal government led you, to the trial doesn't mean they forced you to eat. You were going to eat anyhow.
Right.
And I think that's I wish people understood that, because I know when people call in these cases, I've been entrapped, and I have to explain the law of entrapment to them, and then a fair number of them decide to hire somebody else. This guy doesn't think I was entrapped. But in fact, tomorrow morning I'm going to be putting to plea an individual who has an inappropriate interest in children. We had hoped to raise the insanity defense in his case and then challenge the judge to do something other than lock him up forever on the grounds that we don't punish sick people in this country. But the psychiatrists that we had to evaluate the man would not bite on that proposition. So he'll enter a plea tomorrow, and he'll go to prison for somewhere between 15 and 30 years. We'll argue that early next year. They're heartbreaking cases, Pete. Heartbreaking.
Yeah, but what compassion you have. And I relate like the entrapment. By the way, when I was in prison scrubs, there was entrapment. I had evidence of entrapment. When I actually got together with our joint defense team and I mentioned to the attorneys entrapment, they said, heck no, you guys are innocent. You have to admit guilt, by doing that. The entrapment law says, yes, I robbed the bank, but, I had a gun in my head. Right. You got to explain that all the way through, right? Well, our entrapment case, for months and months and months, they were resistant to it because we were innocent. And I kept making the point in the beginning, just like the J6ers. No, they've already found us guilty. They reverse engineered the indictment. They said, we're guilty of all of these crimes. So
a way to sidestep that issue is, adequacy and completeness and fairness of the law of law enforcement investigation is always material in a case. And so if they're playing games and and they're setting you up to fail, and it looks like entrapment, but it's not quite entrapment as a matter of law, you can appeal to a jury's sense of fairness. So, for example, years ago, I had a case in Connecticut known as the tennis shoe murder case. My client was online. Young kids go wild over, luxury tennis shoes. So he's going to sell a pair of Nike something or others to somebody. And he agrees to meet him in an urban area one night. And when he gets there, the kid reaches into his pants as though to pull a gun, grabs the shoes and runs. A shot rings out. My client's looking for the guy. The next day, the guy was found between two houses, a bullet between the eyes, dead. And my client was accused of shooting him, but he didn't. The office, but he was there, and he didn't. He lied to the officers, saying he fired a warning shot, and he lied to protect his uncle, who was with him and had a felony record. And the uncle would have gotten a felon in possession charge had he admitted this. And I'm sorry the story goes on so long. The bottom line is, as officers interrogated my client, they kept lying to him. And then once he confessed to being alone, as it were, and firing the weapon, they got him to sign a statement and said, by the way, the guy died. So basically, he had confessed to murder. Well, we cross-examined the hell out of that cop, up one end and down the other, about why he thought it was appropriate to lie in the service of the truth. And the jury acquitted my client.
Now, Norm, how many, these are just incredible cases, requires a tremendous amount of compassion, obviously, that you applied. Look at how much it costs to defend yourself in a January 6th case. I mean, to go to trial like Joe Biggs did and all those other defendants, give everybody a rough estimate that if they were to go hire an attorney to do trial preparation all the way through and provide an adequate defense and do it right, how much would it cost somebody to defend themselves?
I wish I knew, and I'm sorry you raised this. Because when the Biggs case, a friend called and asked me to help in the case, and there's no place else I'd rather be in the world than on the front lines of that trial. That was history in the making.
Right.
So I agreed, and there was an agreement that money would be raised for the legal defense for crowdsourcing. I didn't make a dime during trial. Well, that's not true. I mean, Laura Loomer gave us $10,000 at one point, but I didn't even cover the cost of my Airbnb for the 6 months I was in D.C. So my firm lost somewhere between $500,000 and $600,000 during that period.
Wow.
It would have been nice to have somewhere between $500,000 and $1 million to go through everything and get ready. And, you know, I'm still trying to make that up. So if anybody out there has got deep pockets and want to write me a check, let me know. If you don't, I'll move on. And I have moved on.
I need to quadruple down on this, okay? Because I believe that good constitutional attorneys that are compassionate won't deviate. You're not afraid of anybody, and obviously the deep state will ruin you. They'll destroy you. However, you've been able to isolate yourself from that. I applaud you. But attorneys like yourself need to be rewarded fourfold for sticking to the Constitution. So don't be bashful when we ask for support. That's why I have you on. You deserve...
Well, you know, I mean, I guess... It's a long time ago. You know, I've tried a bunch of cases since. I'm starting a murder trial September 2nd. I've got a public corruption trial in Connecticut October 6th. I got another murder trial November 6th. You know, lawyers just move on. You roll with the punches, you know. And so I'm still working on the Biggs appeal, you know, in the Proud Boys. That's due on December 12th. But, you know, as far as the financial beating we took, you know, yeah, it hurts. But I've got to be honest with you. I'd do it all over again. There is no place I would rather have been in those 6 months than where I sat.
Which is why I have you on. So I want you to tell us what's top of mind. What do we need to be paying attention to? What's an important case that you're working? Where do we need to set our sights? And how can we support you in the remaining moments we have with you?
You know, I don't know that I need support. I do just fine ambling along one day after another. And I don't really follow politics, Pete. You know,
good for you.
We had a big win today for a man named John Flynn, who was a Senate candidate against Richard Blumenthal. He was locked up, allegedly threatened a judge. And then they declared him incompetent. And they put him in the state psychiatric institution. And we fought efforts to medicate him. Our view was that he was not insane. He was capable of assisting in his own defense. He understood the nature of the proceedings against him. And we got him released today, finally. A group of people in D.C. hired us and walked him out the psychiatric door today. And now we'll go to the merits of his defense. The things that interest me most are less political than technological. I am very, very concerned about the 2020, what I guess would be 2028 election, and the role of big data and what I will refer as digital supremacy. I think we're being habituated to obedience, and I think AI and control of the algorithms is where the action is, and I'm looking for opportunities to litigate. Here, let me give you an example. Oh, gosh darn it. Kurt Vonnegut wrote a great story, a short story, Henry Bergeron, I think it's called. And the premise is that in a society where everybody is equal, you can take steps to equalize people. If a person is born with superior intelligence, you put an implant into their head and blast noise in from time to time to scramble their thoughts.
That's right.
If a person is fast, you put weights on them to slow them down. Consider the following, and consider what China does with social utility scoring.
We have 45 seconds left, but go ahead, and I want to follow up with you on this. Yep, go ahead.
Consider what they do is they rate people in terms of citizenship, and then you get access to goods and services depending on your rating. As we move to a digital society, a cashless society, will we weight the price of things for people based on their identity? And I think that's how and I'm worried about things like that.
You know what? We're going to push the pause button, okay? And I've got some considerations. There is no legal practice that considers how to protect people from subliminal manipulation through technocracy. It's a legal profession that doesn't exist. I'm glad you're stepping out there. I've got some things to lend to that. But Norm, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank
Be well,
you
everyone.
so much.
Bye.
Yep. Wow. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Norm Pattis, great American patriot. Great American patriot. We'll be back right after.
This is Austin Steinbauer, and you are tuned in to the Pete Santilli Show.
Once upon a time, in the bustling world of scientific discovery, a seemingly ordinary molecule has emerged as the hero of the century: hypochlorous acid. Curativa Bay hypochlorous acid is a powerful disinfectant, sanitizer, wound healer, and skincare marvel. As the world grapples with the challenges of infectious diseases, from common colds to life-threatening pathogens, the need for effective non-toxic solutions is paramount. Curativa Bay is a game changer in the fight against harmful microbes. Unlike traditional disinfectants, Curativa Bay hypochlorous acid is proven to be potent, safe, and capable of eradicating pathogens without any harmful side effects. Our infectious diseases that once plagued humanity have now met with a formidable opponent, thanks to the power of this miraculous molecule. Its wide-ranging efficacy includes combating various human pathogens with no associated toxicity or side effects. The scientific evidence supporting these effects is plentiful and is published in the most rigorous and prestigious biomedical and chemistry journals. The titles of these scientific papers are so powerful that for years our big pharma beholden government has suppressed this information and threatened to shut us down simply for citing the benefits of hypochlorous acid in Curativa Bay products. Curativa Bay is transforming the way we approach cleanliness and hygiene, harnessing the gentle power of nature's own disinfectant. Hypochlorous acid is proven to have 80 times the power of bleach, with the remarkable healing abilities of hypochlorous acid. From chronic wounds, routine skin and eye care, to inflammatory conditions, Curativa Bay has a full range of versatile therapeutic products which promote tissue repair and protection, and which alleviate symptoms with unprecedented efficacy. Visit CurativaBay.com and receive a 10% discount using promo code PETE, as well as free shipping for all orders over $50. That's CurativaBay.com. Use promo code PETE at checkout.
The University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine confirms that pets with cancer live longer taking Coriolis versicolor. This is why we believe that every dog and cat needs Coriolis versicolor to help support and boost their immune system. Our Forest Natural brand has developed the world's first pet treat with immune-boosting Coriolis versicolor mushroom. We call them mush puppies. Coriolis versicolor is the most sought-after, all-natural supplement for both humans and pets to help boost the immune system. There are over 400 studies worldwide on its effectiveness in humans, including Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, MD Anderson Cancer Center, and now from the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine on its absolute effectiveness on pets. Now offered for the first time in a delicious biscuit. Pets absolutely love them. It's our goal to see every pet in the world on Coriolis versicolor with products offered by Pet Club 24/7. Science proves that a healthy immune system is the body's first defense against the smallest of ailments to the most catastrophic. Together, we can help reverse this terrible tide now plaguing our furry loved ones and give them the immune-boosting supplements that they need in mush puppies.
Visit PeteLovesPets.com and be sure to subscribe to AutoShip.
Introducing QUX Pay, or simply the Pay app.
Where you can pay like it's nobody's business.
Because it isn't. It's what everyone's been clamoring for. It's finally here.
Secure every payment. Your data stays private. QUX will never sell your data for profit, period. Pay friends, family, contacts instantly. No hidden fees. No limits. Spend on the move.
With this patented technology, you can use debit, credit, bank transfer, cash cards, and even crypto completely offline.
Amounts transferred through the Pay app reach their destination instantly. Transfers in a flash. As quick as sending a text. No more waiting around like crypto. Are you ready for the future of payments? The state of the art for money is finally here.
Data privacy and security protocols trusted by militaries and banks worldwide. QUX Pay, the Pay app.
Available as an app and point of sale system, personal and corporate accounts available. Go to QUXPay.com and start using the Pay app today.
For special discounts and promotions, always be sure to use promo code PETE at checkout.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen, okay? Because we've got breaking news. Deb joins me for the final 30 minutes. We're going to give, right now, okay, and it's so sad. It's so sad to see that America has been so infiltrated in the media. You know, they got their here. Give me the megaphone. Trump is failure. Russia. Ukraine. Peach. You know, and that it's been going on for 10 freaking years.
It has.
And what was he able to do? Poof! Right over them. Today, he signed an executive order that got drowned out because I'm listening to Anderson Pooper say, oh, he failed. Oh, my goodness, he failed. It's just such a failure. Terrible. He came away with nothing. We didn't get an agreement. And blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. Hey, Anderson Pooper, did you talk about the fact that President Trump signed an executive order banning electronic voting machines and paper ballots? How huge is that?
It's huge.
How huge is that? And I think he's going to be able to get it. Anybody going to go against President Trump when he negotiates a peace deal with Vladimir Putin?
Mm-hmm.
Every single EU leader right now in this coalition, this alliance that President Trump got these people in the room for the first time in my life. Have you ever seen that many NATO people?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Normally they're on the phone. They're too busy. They can't get on planes and come flying in. They've all praised President Trump.
All of them.
They're all getting ready to do what? What are they getting ready to do? They're getting ready, ladies and gentlemen, to give him and nominate him for the Nobel Peace Prize. That's what they're doing. That's why our top news headline is what it is. Now, I call this in advance. I saw Milioni in the room, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I saw what she was doing and what she was saying. Let me see. We're going to go to get Sean Hannity news. Art of the deal is an understatement. That's what he's calling it. Hannity brings on great guests. He's got great sources. We'll use them without the big pharma. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do that. So here we go. Let's do this. We're going to go camera 8. And there we go. We're going to go to the live feed.
Mayor, you don't want to play ball fast enough? Let me get your attention this way. Number 2, he signed that economic agreement, the trade agreement with the European Union that included nearly $1 trillion in guaranteed purchase.
By the way, this is from the guy that will literally turn on Trump if things are not going well.
Oh, I've seen him do it.
He'll turn on Climate
This
Bundy
is
if
of
things aren't going
American
well.
energy. In other words, that's $1 trillion worth of oil and gas that will not be coming into Europe from Russia funding Putin's war machine. Number 3, President Trump got NATO members to more than double their military commitment to 5% of their GDP.
Yeah, let's
and
listen
number
to
4,
this.
he hit Putin where it hurts, implementing a massive tariff on India, 50% if they buy Russian oil. With those 4 steps and the threat of more tariffs to other countries that do business with Russia, those are the severe consequences President Trump was talking about. The president is working very fast to clean up what has been a disaster in Ukraine, of course, created by Western Europe themselves and by Joe Biden in particular. You know, Joe Biden.
Joe Biden's involvement, Deb.
Yes.
Joe Biden's involvement, I'm going to get it queued up right now. I want you to comment all right, on the following. Is it not true that Joe Biden was the one that stopped Vladimir Putin from giving Ukraine $15 billion without having to pay it back?
Yes.
Joe Biden was involved in that, wasn't it? Victoria Nuland and Hillary Clinton. And is it not true that Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, and Victoria Nuland knew that the CIA had overthrown the country of Ukraine, the duly elected government of Ukraine, and they installed their people who are Nazis, Svoboda Party? Yes or no? Is that not true?
It is.
Okay. So is it Joe Biden that got us into war?
It absolutely is.
Is it the CIA?
Years of Obama pushing, regime change and starting fires in Ukraine. This is nothing new. They all know that too. They all know it. I do want to say, I don't know if you're going to go back to this, but while you're doing that.
No, I told you I'm going to queue up the Ukraine thing.
People were questioning. Let me tell you some things that Trump did today. Like Pete mentioned, mail-in voting. President Trump said on Monday that he would lead a movement to eliminate mail-in ballots and would sign an executive order to help bring honesty to the 2026 midterm elections. Mr. Trump has long opposed mail-in voting and falsely said it was a source of fraud. After see, that's their little spin on it. But he did that. And the Epstein files, the Justice Department told the House Oversight Committee on Monday that it would begin providing records related to Jeffrey Epstein on Friday. And they had Louisiana and Mississippi are sending hundreds of National Guard members to Washington, joining 3 other Republican-led states, helping to fulfill President Trump's request to flood the nation's capital with troops and crack down on the president's calls, what the president calls a crime wave. And I can tell you that Ohio is one of those National Guard.
Okay, excellent, good. And I'm sorry to just blow you off, but we only have limited time, and I think this is really important. I think you're going to agree. Yes.
About it.
They can.
Yes,
now back to our show. Just kidding. What? I was queuing this up. You ready?
Yes.
I have proof right here. See that article right there?
Mm-hmm.
What is the date of that article? Can you see it? No. No. But I have it load up, right?
Mm-hmm.
The date of that article is the 18th of January of 2013. Okay? Vladimir Putin offers Ukraine financial incentives.
What year was this?
It was December 18th, 2013, right?
Okay.
And he floated a deal for the Ukrainians. There was no war. There was no nothing. There was nothing going on at all. He said, hey, I'll give you $15 billion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when that article hit and he was going to give $15 billion? I said, holy cow, he's going to do it like debt-free. All he wants is pipelines across so that he could supply the EU with natural gas and oil.
Right.
And he offered $15 billion. He told the Ukraine, who was deep in debt, you don't even need to pay me back anymore. All I want is the pipelines, and we'll take the profits from the sale of oil and natural gas. Then, ladies and gentlemen, this is what started the so-called war, okay? This is what started the war right here.
Right.
Under the Russian proposal, the Ukraine would remain sovereign without debt, and they would maintain control of their natural resources. The United States was furious. Returning from Ukraine after an unsuccessful 5-week trip to Kyiv on December 13, 2013, right in front of a Chevron banner, Assistant Secretary of State Victoria Nuland gave a report to her
December
corporate
13th,
masters at the U.S.-Ukraine Foundation. During her speech, Nuland admitted that the United States had spent nearly $5 billion to subvert the Ukraine.
Since Ukraine's independence in 1991, the United States has supported Ukrainians as they build democratic skills and institutions, as they promote civic participation and good governance, all of which are preconditions for Ukraine to achieve its European aspirations. We've invested over $5 billion to assist Ukraine in these and other goals that will ensure a secure and prosperous and democratic Ukraine.
Stop for a second. Now, coupled with that, I have Roman Kopczynski's book, right? That said in 1989, the CIA stopped doing the dirty work of training all of the revolutionaries underground through the Prologue Corporation. And they recruited George Soros to come in 89, okay, to pay for the propaganda, right, and to also fund and fuel the underground Nazis to overthrow the country of Ukraine. They spent $5 billion, and guess what that $5 billion should refer to? Was from the CIA.
Oh, wow.
From the Central Intelligence Agency. Oh, yeah.
Dang.
He not only admitted to what all Americans now know is called a quid pro quo.
Good governance, all of which are preconditions for Ukraine to achieve its European aspirations.
Nuland makes it very clear that Vice President Joe Biden was pressuring Ukraine, as he had done over the course of 13 visits to the country.
By the way, you want to share this clip right here because I'm laying out facts.
Oh, yes.
that it's not Vladimir Putin's war, okay? We literally launched a coup d'etat in the country of Ukraine. I'm going to play this through. These are facts. This is Victoria Nuland's words. She said Joe Biden is going to say, you can either take our credit card with high debt or you can go with a freebie with Vladimir Putin and we will bomb you.
As Vice President Biden said in remarks last night, President Yanukovych has a choice. He can choose the path that leads to division and isolation, or he can take a leap and take immediate, tangible steps to defuse his country's crisis and start a genuine dialogue with the opposition.
Okay, and guess what? They were concerned about what President Trump right now is negotiating. And guess what it is? There are natural resources, wealth.
Yes.
There are critical minerals. They're oil. Because guess what happened? They sent Cofer Black from the CIA. Go look him up. Cofer, C-O-F-E-R, B-L-A-C, one of the CIA's top guys, very well known, right out in the open, right? Sent the CIA's Cofer Black to get on the board of Burisma, along with Hunter Biden. Okay? I'm not joking.
No, it's true.
I'm not joking.
And agree on a path that returns Ukraine.
And when Hunter Biden got caught, look what Joe Biden did.
To economic and political health.
As most Americans now know, it would not be the first and last time Joe Biden committed bribery with the Ukraine.
I remember going over convincing our team, or others too, convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over for, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I looked, I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting money.
What's that?
Oh, son of a bitch.
What was that?
Got fired.
He got fired.
Put in place someone who was solid.
Lutsenko inherits the highest legal office in the land.
Chanel Rion and Rudy Giuliani investigated all this. The top prosecutor that had Hunter Biden nailed, okay, and Cofer Black and Burisma and all that, the prosecutor got fired because they went in there and figured out that they were laundering money and doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Lutsenko has zero legal training.
That was the guy they put in place.
Joe Biden expressed approval.
Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid.
We also need to understand who Victoria Nuland is.
Who's that?
By taking a look at who her husband is.
Who is her husband? Do you remember? And if you don't remember, that's okay. Who's her husband?
I don't remember.
Okay, do you remember the PNAC, Project for the New American Century?
Yeah.
Of George Bush, right? Donald Rumsfeld, right?
Yeah.
Dick Cheney, right? George Bush, we've covered this a lot, but I'm just reviewing it. Dick Cheney, George Bush, all of the deep staters, and Robert Kagan from the Brookings Institute.
Robert Kagan.
They said before 9/11 that our country needed a Pearl Harbor-styled event.
They did.
Right? And what happened shortly after they published that? There was a Pearl Harbor-styled event called 9/11. Robert Kagan from the Brookings Institute is her husband.
His name is Robert Kagan. Robert Kagan is the co-founder of PNAC, a neoconservative think tank which detailed a plan to establish a presidential dictatorship using a fabricated, quote, Pearl Harbor-like incident as justification. PNAC members such as Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld, Paul Wolfowitz, Jeb Bush, Richard Pearl, John Bolton, Scooter Libby, Elliot Abrams, Richard Armitage, William Bennett, and William Crystal all discussed an array of different plots and incidents, like, quote, flying airplanes into buildings way back in the 60s. Kagan is also a member of the Council on Foreign Relations and a senior fellow at the Brookings Institution, which, thanks partly to the generous donations of China's Huawei Corporation, funds the Lawfare Group, The lawyers disguised as Democrat congressional staffers who are principal architects of the current impeachment hoax.
You see that guy right there, ladies and gentlemen? His name, here I'm going to put him on the screen. His name is Norm Eisen from the Brookings Institution, who's also friends with the fellow at the Brookings Institution /CIA /Victoria Nuland person. He's the guy that wrote new rules for Congress so that Nancy Pelosi, right, instead of having an elected official conducting an impeachment proceeding, they wrote a new rule to allow a staffer to ask questions as counsel. And that counsel was Norm Eisen, who wrote himself in, and he led the impeachment proceedings against President Donald J. Trump, right? That
Correct.
Norm Eisen. Norm Eisen just so happens to be the same exact person that did two things. He wrote the manual on color revolutions, right? When he was, I think, Yugoslavia ambassador. He had a big palace out there. He took Gene Sharp's methods of peaceful nonviolent resistance, color revolutions, covert, George Soros styled, right?
Yeah.
He wrote the manual on color revolutions, and he also wrote the Transition Integrity Project on behalf of the deep state, which basically gamed out every possible scenario if the 2020 election was won by President Trump, how they were going to take down Washington, D.C., take over all the buildings and do insurrection, right? Or if President Trump lost, to challenge his challenges to election fraud and all that stuff. I have the entire manual. Norm Eisen led the impeachment proceedings on behalf of the CIA, okay? And the Ukraine impeachment proceedings.
Coincidentally, Kagan left the Republican Party in 2016 due to what he described Donald Trump as a fascist and endorsed Hillary Clinton. An investigation by former Congressman Steve Stockman, and also verified and reported in Newsweek magazine, revealed that between 2009 and 2013, Ukrainian oligarch Viktor Pinchuk, Ukraine's fourth richest man and the largest individual contributor to the Clinton Foundation, was allowed to ship steel from his Ukrainian company Interpipe to Iran in violation of Iran sanctions. The person in charge of allowing Interpipe to contravene U.S. sanctions against Iran was Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. So let's recap our timeline. Assistant Secretary of State Victoria Nuland, wife of Robert Kagan, was assigned by Hillary Clinton to Ukraine as Assistant Secretary of State for European and Eurasian Affairs and sworn in September 18, 2013. Nuland worked right next to CIA agent Eric Ciaramella, who presumably helped arrange for black op mercenaries, snipers, and tractor trailers full of tires to be delivered to the Maidan and set ablaze. Of course, this was Plan B after Nuland failed to secure IMF loans on behalf of her friends over at the CFR, PNAC, and Brookings Institution. November 24, 2013, the CIA coup was kicked off on the Maidan for the entire world to see, with burning tires, black smoke, and hundreds of thousands of protesters.
Incredible.
I was able to get all that in. That's why I was pressed for time. And I'm like, now back to our show, gotta go, bye. Ladies and gentlemen, what you just heard right there is what President Trump knows. How do I know he knows? I just do. That's right. I take fixeverything.com. PeteLovesPets.com. President Trump got shot in the ear, and they failed. Peace will come, and President Trump will be nominated by everybody. By everybody.
I've utilized the thing that John Hewlett has developed, this Cardio Miracle, and just so you, as a quick aside, in the gym where I go every day, the 30-somethings, and I'm in my mid-50s, they just can't keep up.
I did start probably in about January taking the Cardio Miracle. The most interesting and telling thing after being on this for a few months is really noticing a difference in the energy level that I've had and the severity of my heart problems. It's funny, you start to begin to have this sense that there's actual healing taking place inside the body.
Well, I'm one of the generation born in 1947, so on the front end of the baby boom, all I can say is if you want prolonged life, better health, more energy, better sleep, this is a great product.
Visit cardiomiracle.com and be sure to use promo code PETE at checkout and receive a 15% discount when you subscribe to AutoShip.
Hey everyone, I really hope you are enjoying the program today, and I hope you enjoy LFA TV as a whole, because let's face it, we're not getting any younger. However, if there was a way to slow down our aging and live a little bit longer, would we do it? I think we would. You ever heard of Fatty 15, folks? Well, Fatty 15 is a brand new supplement that has C15 in it. You might ask, what's C15? Well, C15 is the first fatty acid to be discovered in 90 years that actually prolongs your life. Over 100 studies over many years were done on dolphins because these two doctors were in charge of basically increasing the dolphin population. So they started introducing this fatty acid called C15, and what they found was something amazing. The dolphins were living longer, and the dolphin pods were growing bigger. It was an amazing discovery. And now, ladies and gentlemen, you can get C15 introduced into your life to slow down the aging process of your cells. And it's not only going to make you feel and you look younger, but it's going to make your body think it is younger, which means you're going to start doing more things again. There's a thing called cellular fragility syndrome. And cellular fragility syndrome happens as we get older. This is going to reverse it, folks. Fatty15.com/LFA, promo code LFA. That is fatty15.com/LFA, promo code LFA. Get your discount today, folks, and start this new journey to help you live longer. Fatty15.com/LFA, promo code LFA today. Now, back to the program. Thank you very much.
The University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine confirms that pets with cancer live longer taking Coriolis versicolor. This is why we believe that every dog and cat needs Coriolis versicolor to help support and boost their immune system. Our Forest Natural brand has developed the world's first pet treat with immune-boosting Coriolis versicolor mushroom. We call them mush puppies. Coriolis versicolor is the most sought-after, all-natural supplement for both humans and pets to help boost the immune system. There are over 400 studies worldwide on its effectiveness in humans, including Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, MD Anderson Cancer Center, and now from the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine on its absolute effectiveness on pets. Now offered for the first time in a delicious biscuit. Pets absolutely love them. It's our goal to see every pet in the world on Coriolis versicolor with products offered by Pet Club 24/7. Science proves that a healthy immune system is the body's first defense against the smallest of ailments to the most catastrophic. Together, we can help reverse this terrible tide now plaguing our furry loved ones and give them the immune-boosting supplements that they need in mush puppies.
Visit PeteLovesPets.com and be sure to subscribe to AutoShip.
Don't worry, honey. They just like to watch. It's okay, honey.
They just like to watch.
At QUX. We don't. Seriously, we don't.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for Flyover Conservatives and the end of the show. Right now, as we cut over, we've got about a couple minutes here because Hannah's show just the way it was configured. So we're having to end it just a little bit early and then go to flyover conservative. So listen, support us by supporting our sponsors, please. Support LFA TV. I know you guys got a lot, especially out of that final segment right there. Very, very enlightening. A lot of you haven't seen my documentary, and you got it. You got the straight scoop right in the middle of the peace negotiations, right here on LFA TV. Good night, everybody. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you click that thumbs up button, put us up on the front page, and share, especially that last segment, with as many people as you know.